What's up, Nerdyverse? I'm Daddy Louie, and in this video, we're taking a look at a game called Crazy Cultists, so stick around. Before we get started, if you're new to our channel and you want to see more content like this, start now by hitting the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. Crazy Cultists is a game published by a company called Rocket House Games. It is for 3 to 6 players, ages 10 and up, and takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play. You are trying to gain favor with the Dark Lord, all the meanwhile trying to stop everyone else at the table from gaining favor from the Dark Lord. And ultimately, you want to be the first to summon Satan himself. And yeah, this game is not serious by any stretch. It is fun for the whole family, despite the fact of the matter that you're trying to summon the devil himself. But I've thoroughly enjoyed it. My family enjoyed it as well. We just had a lot of laughs, and at its core, it is a screw over your neighbor and be the first one to complete your objective before everyone else does the same. The game was a Kickstarter. It was fully backed. People who backed that game are receiving their copies as we speak. This is a full retail version that I'll be showing you now. And if you'd like to pick up your copy, you can do so by heading over to the publisher's website and pre-ordering it right now. I will leave a link to that in the description below for you guys to check out. But without further ado, let's head over to the table and I'll show you what it's all about. Alright, so first we'll take a look at the box. Very simple, yet designed very well. It has kind of a matte background finish here, and all of the letters are shiny, which makes them pop real well. On the side you have just the, how long it takes, players, and age. And then on the back, it just has a short description of what the game is all about, the contents, and some other information as well. Once inside the box, you have all of the components that you see here on the table. You have 90 cards, 30 of which are Jinx cards, and 60 of which are favor cards, which I'll explain in just a minute. You also have your 6 summoning circles for your 3 to 6 players. They are double-sided. On one side, you just see the plain pentagram here with the circles, and then on the other side, they are numbered. These are the amount of favor points that you need to earn a candle to fill the circle. And then in the middle, it has a little spot that says, "Whom do you serve?" And you can name your own demon, kind of thing. A nice little addition to the game that they didn't have to include, but I'm glad that they did. And then you have 30 candle tokens, which you'll use to mark the spots on your summoning circle. And then, of course, you get the rule book. It's only just a few pages, and once I understood the rules, there was really no reason to reference the rule book again. Like I said, there are 90 cards in the deck, and there are 2 different types of cards. There are favor cards, which are literally just have a number on it, and it says favor points. You'll play these to try and get up to a certain number of favor in order to earn a candle to place on your circle. And then there are also Jinx cards that are shuffled in, and those are cards that you play mostly, for the most part, they'll be played against your opponent in order to kind of screw them over, if you will, and remove favor points, or make them skip their turn, or make them do a plethora of different things. For example, here's one that says -2, and that's not -2 favor, that's -2 favor cards. So when you play this, you're going to remove the last 2 favor cards that they played on their stack. And there's some other things, like here is the Necronomicon, and this says, I'm sorry, it's the Nerd Ronomicon. And it says, look at the top 3 cards of the deck, put 1 in your hand, and then put the last 2 on top of the deck in any order. And there's lots of different things like that throughout the deck. So let me set up for a quick 3-player game, and I'll show you exactly what it is. Okay, so here I've set up for a 3-player game. You can see I have my 3 summoning circles here for each player. Each player is dealt 3 cards, which they keep a secret. You keep the candle tokens within reach and the deck of cards within reach. On your turn, you must always have 3 cards in your hand. So when you play a card, you must then draw a card. If on your opponent's turn you play a card, which there are a few cards that allow you to do that, you also would draw a card right then and there. Same as if a player made you discard a card, you'd have to immediately draw another card again as well. So on your turn, you may play 1 card, and then to signal that your turn is over, you draw another card. And essentially what you're trying to do is you're trying to fill your summoning circle with candles. So you need 5 candles, and the first player to gain 5 candles wins. In order to earn your first candle, you need 10 favor. In order to gain your second candle, you need 9, 8, 7, and 6 respectively. So the first candle is the hardest to get, and then it gets significantly easier after that. So you do that by placing favor in a stack on your part of the board, if you will. So if this was player 1, we would look at their cards. They have 2 favor cards and then a -1 favor card to play on another player. But since no one else has any favor right now, I would want to keep this. And so let's say I just want to play my 2 right now. So I would play my 2 on my stack and then keep these in my hand, draw a card. I got another 2, and then I would pass to the next player. The next player would then go. They have a nice hand of 3, 3, 3. So they would just play their 3 and then draw a card, another 1, and then pass turn to the next player. And then the next player does the same thing. You kind of get the idea. Ooh, they have a nice 4, a -1, and a 2. So let's say I decided to play the 4, and then I would draw a card. I have Evil Eye, which is show your hand to the player that dealt you this card. That player may then take 1 card from your hand. So I would play this on, say, this person. They would have to show me their hand, and I would get to take a card from them. So I would save that for later as well. So then back on my turn, remember I had that -1 card, and I don't want him to have a 4 because 4 is a high number. So I would play this, right, discarding it into the discard pile on them, and they would have to trash their 4 favor. I would then get to draw a card. He does not because he has 3 cards in his hand, and then my turn is over with. And it goes round and around like that. Now let's say this guy over here, for example, let's say he has 3 3s out. Nobody's been able to take any favor from him, and then on his turn he's got the 1. Okay, so he plays the 1, which gives him 10. He would immediately discard these cards, and he would gain a candle, which would go in the 10, and now he only needs 9 favor for his next candle. And that's pretty much it. One other thing that you'd need to note is that let's grab these cards back, and let's say, for example, I had 9 right here, and the only thing I had left in my hand was a 2, or a 3, or a 4. And I played that, I would lose the extra 1. I'd still get to get a candle, but I would lose that extra favor. And essentially that's what you do. You're going around in a circle, trying to gain enough favor to gain a candle based on where you're at on your pentagram, and also trying to remove favor and screw over your opponents from gaining favor with the Dark Lord. The games that we played 6-player games, and they did tend to take a lot longer because there was constantly somebody who was drawing, the jinx cards and making their opponent discard stuff. And it seemed like every time somebody would get close, you know, they would have to remove a ton of their favor. So getting that first candle did take a little while. With less people, that happened a little less because we just weren't going through the deck as fast to get to those cards. Because there are more favor cards in the deck than there are jinx cards. One way that you could fix that, if games tend to be too long, in my opinion, what you could do is house rule it and just not put as many jinx cards into the deck. So instead of having, you know, instead of having 60-30, you could do 60-15, for example, or 60-20. Also, one more thing to note is that the rulebook does include some variations of play, some rule variations that you can try out. I will leave those for you to check out on your own. But one is, you know, like beast mode, requirement to get any candle is 6, and it's first player to get 3 candles wins. So that would eliminate, you know, having to go first, or having the game last a long time. So there are some ways to do that, as well as house ruling. But that's it. That's all that you need to know how to play. I think it's really fun, and I enjoy games where you tend to make enemies before you make friends, kind of thing, and this is kind of the perfect game for that. Don't let the name of the game or the theme of the game fool you. This is a fun game that the whole family can play. It really is a very good entry-level screw over your neighbor game. The rules are not complicated, but the cards make it fun. And the art is very simple, but I appreciate that. It's very Munchkin-y, I guess you could say, kind of like the game Munchkin. But like I said earlier, you can find this game for pre-order right now on the publisher's website. All the links to that will be in the description below. I recommend checking it out, especially if you like this kind of game, because it's just a really, really solid type of game that it is. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy it as much as I did. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out a lot. Make sure that you share it with your family, friends, and your nerdy communities. If you have any suggestions for the channel, any games you would like to see us feature, let us know in the comments section down below. If you have any videos you would like featured on our page, or if you want to collaborate with us, you can hit us up on one of our social media platforms, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Circle of Nerds. We would love to hear from you, love to collaborate with you. Also, don't forget that we have a weekly podcast, comes out every Tuesday, called The Cosmic Disaster Show. You can find that right here on YouTube, as well as any of the platforms that you like listening to podcasts on. And for a little bit of extra love and affection, make sure that you check us out over at Patreon, at patreon.com/circleofnerds. Anyway, guys, that's all from me. I will see you in the next video.